There are several ways to Lambo from Bitcoin and other cryptos, but if we're going to look exclusively at the price and how that could exponentially go up to, say, the cost of a Lamborghini, which in US dollars is about a fourth of a million right now, we have to look at exactly what would have to happen to the coin. And you did see since its inception, now this is Bitcoin Pizza Day, right? When a guy paid many thousands of Bitcoin just to buy a pizza. So the compounding is historical. It has happened out there. And in order to get to that threshold, given the current price is 8,000, it would need to compound at a rate of 99% over the next 5 years. So it has been going sideways of late, but it would need to accelerate on the same type of trajectory on a hockey stick level up in order to meet that threshold. So if you bring this up to someone, you might get like a snide remark like, "Oh, don't buy your Lambo hat yet," or you know, these things of disbelievers, right? The same type of people that would not pay a few cents to get into them when it was unproven technology. So just a few things to consider. 17 million currently that are out there, and of that, about 50% is probably locked up. There's people that threw away thumb drives or hard drives that had many thousands of Bitcoin locked up in it. So the type that's actually can be sent to an exchange and is liquidated or liquidatable is probably in the order of about half of that. So how can we accurately determine what the future price may be? Because very few of the people that were predicting these thresholds in the very beginning, 2011, 2012, are like still actively doing it. So, but they've seen the rise, so they're all excited about the buildup. So let's see if we can take a more of a neutral look at this. And there are a lot of altcoins out there that build upon Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper. So they can do many of the same things that blockchain technology did with Bitcoin and the SHA-256 smart proof of work consensus mechanism. But at the same time, Bitcoin really does have that widespread adoption. People know about it. They know that in order to take over it is virtually impossible because there's so many mining pools out there, and to rent the requisite amount of hashing power would be an extraordinary sum. So it's relatively safe given the current consensus protocol. So, I try to look at some of the leaders in the blockchain space, and someone I do respect is Tim Draper, and he has outlandish comments in some areas, but he definitely is all in many aspects of the crypto world. He was actually Skyped in for one of the keynotes for a crypto conference that I went to, and he talked a lot about meeting with world leaders, specifically in this case, a South American leader that was president, currently is president, and talked about how incorporating Bitcoin into the company's or the country's reserves could help stabilize the currency, and that Bitcoin down the road would be a reserve type of like currency, right? And how the possibility is there that Satoshis, which are worth really not a lot now, could be quite a bit more in the future. So, as everyone knows that knows Bitcoin, there will only be 21 million coins that'll ever be mined, because every 4 years, the amount of the block reward for the proof of work mining gets cut in half. And so I guess it's 2140 when you would eventually see that the block rewards would stop, but you still get the fees that are being sent. And at the current time, you're paying like 200 Satoshis per byte, so that's like $2. So the one of the biggest hindrances with Bitcoin is the cost of sending it, right? when you want something to be sent, you're going to have to send a lot of Satoshis per byte because there's a lot of transactions out there, and to get it as a priority in one of the next blocks, you're going to have to spend a few bucks. As opposed to Litecoin or Ethereum, well, Ethereum's network does get jammed from time to time, but most of the time it's going to be a few cents for some of these larger ones. So I do hear about a lot of the major endowments, university endowments, state fund endowments are actually incorporating a few percent, like less than a percent, or maybe just a little bit more of their portfolio into crypto. And you hear Mark Cuban and various people saying 1% may be acceptable because if it goes to the moon, then that doubling will actually have a considerable influence or positive effect on the rest of your portfolio. Because if it goes to nothing, you just lost 1%. And if it goes that much more, and doubles, then, it could add like 10% to your overall return of your portfolio. And that's pretty sizable if the rest of it is equities and bonds and things that are set, but aren't going to go crazy in terms of appreciation. If you're looking just for capital conservation and using those, then you're not going to get rich buying T-bills. So yeah, a few things has to happen. There has to be more widespread adoption. I would say the Lightning Network has to be more readily accepted, and you're seeing more and more of that. And the Lightning Network fees are next to nothing. So if you can get people connected to a particular node, and that gets more use, then you got many of the problems of the cost of sending Bitcoin out of it. You will see a lot of the faucets out there will use like little micro wallets that are all within a node, and that could be more on a widespread basis. You have BitPay and everything that they try to centralize things and make it faster for people that are trying to pay, within their little ecosystem. But keep in mind, Bitcoin is the biggest, first to market, biggest mover, but many of the coins can do it faster and cheaper. So if it does moon, that's a possibility. And Tim Draper seems to think that it will. I mean, he did the sale for the Mt. Gox coins when the FBI sold them for several thousand, Bitcoins worth, way back when. And he says one of the most enterprising offers that Bitcoin and blockchain technology can give to a service economy or a bunch of different countries is their smart contract technology that can make it so that the lawyers and the accountants that so much of our economy is being drained by to keep everything honest could be replaced by smart contracts where there's no ambiguity, where the code is written and it's all there right in front of you. So there's a lot of opportunities for Bitcoin to really step up and keep the trajectory that it's been having and completely revolutionize the space, still be that leader, and you'll be able to buy a Lambo with 1 Bitcoin. Possibly. Check with your financial advisor first before investing, and please do so responsibly.